Good morning, my beautiful people. Happy Tuesday to you. Want to get right into last night's Monday Night Raw on Netflix, February 3rd, 2025. All right, so last night, I'll go ahead and give my little rough. I'll go ahead and say this. The wrestling last night was mid to below average because last night was more about being the Monday after Rumble. You had a lot of promos, a lot of talking. So last night was really about that. So the wrestling was kind of over here anyway. Like it is what it is. And you typically get that. And I was telling my son while it was happening, I'm like, this time last year is when Rock came out and pretty much told the world he was going to fight Roman Reigns at Mania and take Cody's spot, right? And I said, my thought on that was, look at where we are now versus where we were then. You know, like what happened storyline wise and like creative wise between now and then. And again, I'm going to keep going back to last year being an absolute accident. But here we are now a year later, and we are where we are. And look, they opened the show with Jey Uso, and, a very emotional moment. Again, I'm glad he won. I am glad he won. When it came down to it, you can ask my son, like, when it came down to him and Cena, like, I'm yelling, go, yeet. I don't eat. Ever. I never eat. I yeeted a few times. And I was happy that he won. I was. It was the post thing. It was the post press conference that I didn't. It kind of threw me off and made me go sideways on it because I don't want him going after Gunther's title. We've been there, done that. Like, come on, man. Let's go after Cody's. So therefore, there will be a future match, hopefully, because if he does face Cody, I'm hoping he wins. Cody's title run needs to come to an end, please. It's not happening soon enough. It's one of those things where could we be really looking at? Could it be happening? Can we be watching the transition of the next big thing happening? Is the next best thing Jey Uso? Is it? I don't know. It certainly looks like they're warming it up that way when they're cooking. And if that's the case, then cool. I'm going to keep saying it. Like, I just keep going back to the stories. Like, that's what I want. I want a good story, man. This is my male soap opera, dude. I want to have something to talk about the next morning. And I haven't had anything to talk about outside of complaining. So that's my big thing. Anyways, Jey Uso's out there. He's having an emotional moment with the crowd. Even has his music start back up. I get it. That's awesome. And then Gunther comes out, and they have their moment together. And, Gunther's pretty much telling him, you better not pay me, because if you do, I'm going to make your life hell for the next, couple months. Every Monday night, I'm going to hurt you, and pretty much drops the microphone. And then Jay's like, hey, I'm going to go to SmackDown and holler at Cody. And, see what's up there. And that made me feel better after what he said after the Rumble win, because I thought he was immediately going to jump into Gunther, and it was like, I didn't want that. That's not what I wanted here. It's not about what I want. But I think the fan base in general, we just saw him fight Gunther, and that's happened before. Like, that wasn't the first match between the two. Like, that's happened multiple times, and Jey lost. And I understand at WrestleMania it's a different stage. I get it. Who remembers his terrible match with with Jimmy last year? I do. And I was new to them. They weren't around when I wasn't watching it before. So like I said, I've had to do a lot of homework. I've had to do a lot lot of backstepping on all of these guys that are out there now, so I can get some sort of familiarity with them and see where they've been and see what kind of their skills and what they're capable of doing. Jay has a lot of tools. He does. It's just he's also limited in a lot of different ways with his 4-move set, and he's a mid-carder. He's always been a mid-carder. I want more for him because the crowd does love him, dude. The crowd loves him. But I read on a comment last night. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong on this person. I wish I remember their name, but I don't. It was on Facebook. But what if he came out there one time and didn't do the eat? The crowd would turn on him so fast. The crowd would turn on Jay if he didn't do all the eat stuff, man. That's what's keeping him up here with the crowd. The crowd loves the vibe, man. The crowd loves the music, the yeet, everything about it. They love it. But if he came out and didn't do that, man, they turn it on him so fast, dude. Because the crowd is savage. The WWE Universe is savage. They'll eat you alive quick. So anyway, yeah, so there's that. I'm looking forward to see now what happens on SmackDown when Jay goes over there and talks to Cody. We'll see what happens with that. Really hoping he goes after Cody. Now we'll talk about the Charlotte Flair promo. She comes out and, pretty much, I love how she comes out and automatically assume, like, she comes out face-like, right? She's like, I noticed on her way out, like, she's trying to slap hands with the fans coming down the aisle, and I'm like, that just looks awkward. What is going on? What is she doing? She's a heel. Is she trying to be a face? And then sure enough, she comes out and she makes the comments of, how she's missed everybody, and, even though they boo her, she missed them, and blah, 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 blah. But like, you're not going to come back when you've been gone for a year and a half, at least, and win the Rumble and expect everybody to be like on your side and cheering you. And like, you're not going to be a face. Like, you're going to be automatic heel. People are going to boo you. And honestly, like, that's kind of why I'm hoping. And Rhea comes out and interferes with her promo, and whatever happens, whatever. I won't get into that. But my thing is, here's my thing with that belt and that whole situation is, that's kind of why I'm hoping it's her and Rhea, not her and Tiffany, because I know her and Rhea have already fought before. I think they're 1-1 in WrestleManias, and I know they've already had their deal. But I would rather her see Rhea because of that. Like, she's a huge heel, Rhea's a huge face. I would rather see that than her and Tiffany, because Tiffany's still got a ways to go. Tiffany's still kind of on her way up, even though she's got the title. She's still got a lot to work on, and maybe Charlotte going and feuding with her will help Tiffany if that is the case. I'm hoping that happens, but I don't know. I was more aggravated with Rhea last night in the qualification match with Liv and Io, because y'all know, anybody who knows me personally knows I like Liv Morgan. I'm a Liv Morgan fan. But I was actually pulling for Io in that match. I like Io a lot. She's a fantastic wrestler. And I love that she's starting to speak English now. That's awesome. But she is... I was looking at Io as one of my favorites to win the Elimination Chamber. I was hoping she'd win the Rumble, but I knew she wouldn't. But the minute I heard Charlotte Flair was going to be in the Rumble, I knew she was going to win. But I was really hoping that Io would be in the Elimination Chamber and have a shot at going to WrestleMania that way. And then Rhea comes out last night and gets Io disqualified. And like, I'm livid, man. I'm like, I already don't like Rhea. Like, I'm already not a fan of Rhea. And then that happened, and I'm like, I looked over at my son, and I'm like, this is it? Really? This is how it goes down? And because he's a big Rhea fan, and I'm not. So I'm telling him, I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, just stay in your business. Get out of it. None of this had anything to do with you. You come out, interfere in the match, get EO disqualified. Now EO's not even going to be in the Elimination Chamber. And that's crap. And EO was upset about it. I'm like, yeah, well, duh. I mean, come on, man. Be real. But anyway, I gotta fix that. That's driving me crazy. And then I'll skip straight to the main event. There were some other things that happened, but just nothing noteworthy. Like I said, last night was kind of a dull night. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. The promos is what made it, watchable, in my opinion. The end of the night, you had CM Punk facing Sami Zayn for the qualification for the Elimination Chamber match. I was going for Sami Zayn. I look. Here's my outlook on CM Punk. Okay, he's turned into what he's always hated. He's turned into Cena. He's turned into. I'll get to that in a minute. He's turned into everything that he's ever complained about. When other wrestlers would go away, come back, he'd fuss about that all the time. Well, you're a hypocrite because now you're doing it. And you're not doing it Cena way. And that's what I said about Cena. We'll talk about this in a minute. Cena declared himself into the Elimination Chamber match. You didn't have to have a qualifying match to get in. He just declared himself in. Does anybody else need any reason for me to not like Cena? Everybody else has to have a qualifying match to get in. I don't like it. I think it's stupid. Oh, that's John Cena. He's, earned his way in through his whole career. Yeah, okay, cool. Don't care. Everybody else has to have a qualifying match no matter how long they've been wrestling. CM Punk's been around forever. He had to have a qualifying match. He's old. He had to have a qualifying match. What makes you better than everybody else? And I know you're John Cena before anybody says anything. I get it. I don't care. I don't care. You ain't no better than that dude standing next to you. Seriously. What gives you more rights than that dude? What? The fact that you're off making movies? I don't care. I don't care. That doesn't... This whole thing is stupid. Anyway, back to CM Punk. I get off my ADHD is on fire this morning. The CM Punk Sami Zayn match, I was pulling for Sami. Because Seth came out right before all this and pretty much later. He comes out wearing a shower curtain, looking like my buddy Chad wrote on the chat. Looked like a oh God, what did he say? A Goodwill Undertaker. Yeah, that was pretty accurate, man. That was really accurate. Love that. That's what it looked like. Some of the things that Seth Rollins wears is unbelievable. Anyway, he came out and Seth came out before that match and was talking to Sami one-on-one in the ring and made the comment about, narcissist looks you in your face and tells you you're not on his level and this, that, and the other. It was getting Sami really kind of pumped up, which I thought was cool. Because Sami was going to need that. Everybody knew going in, Punk was going to win. But I was pulling for Sami, and I agree with everything Seth said. For the most part, I have my own ups and downs with Seth, because I do think Seth's a snake. Seth is, though he was MVP WrestleMania 40, no doubt. But Seth always points a finger at everybody else like they're the bad guys, Roman, when he is the usual cause of the problems. So I don't, whatever. Anyway, so that happens, and the match happens. There at the Wild, it was crazy because they fought forever. It was a really decent match. And then right at the end, you see Sami hulking up. He does that. Sami hulks up. I call it the Duggan effect, the Jim Duggan effect. He's starting Hulk Hogan. He's amping up, and then right at that time, is when Punk catches him with the GTS, and that was it. It was over, and Punk wins. And they kind of have a moment together. You know, Punk goes to shake his hand, and then Kevin Owens comes out of nowhere, looking like he just got off a gurney or something, and pretty much smashes Sammy pretty bad. And I kind of thought going in that might be a main event match. That might be not a main event. That might be a WrestleMania match that we could see as Sammy versus KO, because KO is going to come back and be like, "You didn't help me," you know. I get it, even though he kind of did, but he let it happen. He could have stopped Cody, and he didn't. Is what Kevin's probably going to go with here, but that's the way it ended. He pile drived Sammy at the end, so Lord knows how long Sammy will be out. We were talking about this too last night. Like, he pile drives Randy Orton. Where is Randy Orton? R.I.P. Randy Orton. Like, where are you right now? And then at the end, he's like, he pile driver. You don't know how long they're going to be out. Cody came back in a week after a pile driver. Randy Orton's been out for like 4 months. So I guess it just depends on how long they're going to take a vacation. But I do think that it'll be Sammy and KO at WrestleMania having their feud. So, and maybe, who knows, maybe that's when Randy comes back. I have no idea. Until then, R.I.P. Randy Orton. I have no idea where you are. R.I.P. Solo. Where's Solo? I keep hearing he's gone. Somebody talk to me. I don't blame Solo. Like, I didn't like his deal, and I didn't like the Great Value Tribal Chief, but I like Solo, and I noticed that he's not there, and it's not okay. Like, bring Solo back. I don't know what's going on. They've kind of devoured the Bloodline, and I don't like it. Bloodline is where I'm at. Where you at, Bloodline? What's happening? Alright, guys, I've gone way over today. I hope y'all stuck with me. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting on? Get it done. Drop the vote. Love you guys. See y'all tomorrow.